Welcome to MES e-learning channel. I am going to explain you advanced tools and techniques which are used under the research methodology. In our professional life, in our school life, we are doing the research in many segments. We are performing the research to complete the minor research project, our basic projects as well as the major research project, and lots of tools and techniques we need to collect the data, to analyze the data and to represent the data. So in this session, I am going to explain various tools which we are going to use for the research methodology. So let's begin with our session. So before going for the understanding of the tools, we need to understand what exactly we have to collect from the market, from the area, from the segment or from public. So first we will be understanding variable and its types, because under the variable only on the basis of the variable we are collecting the data from the various resources. So variable is nothing but a storage of the data. There is a difference between the data and the information. Data is just a collected facts and figure or a raw format of your numbers. Information is the analyzed thing. So when you are going to analyze the data, when you are simply doing the filtration or the sorting on the data, it becomes the information. So to go till the information, first we have to understand the variable, meaning of the variable, the types of the variable, and types are going to specify on the basis of your collection of the data. So on an average, the variable is divided under the two major bifurcation. The first one is the quantitative, the second one is the qualitative. So for quantitative, as the name is given, it is collecting the quantity related data, the number related data. So the under the quantitative data, again we have a continuous and the discrete data. So in the continuous data, the data which is representing in the form of fractions, in the form of your decimal values, that we are considering for the continuous quantitative data or the variables. And for the discrete, where the complete numbers are used to represent the data, we are called it as the discrete data. Going for the example for the continuous data is temperature. When we are collecting the temperature for the entire month for analyzing the average temperature for certain time period or certain region. Another example like prices, the property prices we can consider, the grading system where the students' grades are represented in the fraction values. Discrete, in the discrete format, when we are representing the values in a complete number like 2, 5,000, 5,000, where the decimal values are not making any sense to measure it. Example for the discrete data collection is nothing but the total number of the students, the population of the country, total number of students attended the seminar. This kind of data comes under the discrete. Under the qualitative is divided under the nominal and the ordinal. So whenever the nominal data we are collecting, where the order does not matter, like if I am saying start collecting the data for the rigor region, it means one of you can start the data from the Panvel, one of you can start the data from the Kharghar or from Pain or somewhere. So here the order does not matter. Even if I am saying you start writing the names of the colors, so you will be starting the writing of the color, someone will start from the black, someone will start from the red. So that kind of data comes under the nominal. Again, one more example like gender classification, male, female, that kind of data under the nominal. For the ordinal data, where the order matters, where you can easily mention the first, the second, the ranking of the data is mentioned, and that matters when you are collecting the data. Like say for example, national rank for state, or we can say the state-wise rank of the student, or your AIR ranking. Another example for ordinal is your when you are going for the movie ticket, we are saying I want to book the platinum, I want to book the golden seat or the silver. So that has some meaning. So that comes under the ordinal. There is one more bifurcation for the variable, that is the independent and dependent. So when we are going for the research or the data collection for the research, first we have to understand for what basis or for what will be our target, and for which target we are collecting the data. So that target becomes your dependent column, and other which are making the changes in your target variable, which are affecting on your target variable, we are called it as the independent variable. Example, if I am saying property prices data, so price value is your dependent variable, whereas the location, then the area of your flat, then number of bedrooms, then furnished, unfurnished, all these are your independent variables. So this is all about the variables. Let's move towards the tools which we are using for the data collection or research methodology. So for the data collection, we have primary and the secondary data collection. The first, under the primary, as the name is given, primary is meaning of the primary is you are personally going to perform the survey to collect the data, you are creating the questionnaire, and then you are going for the data collection. So of course, as you are personally making all these things, it needs a time, it's a time consuming, but whichever data you are getting after completing your primary data collection, that data is 100% pure. So first bifurcation for the primary data collection is survey. Survey is what? When you are circulating the forms, various forms, or just asking some random questions to certain region or certain group of people, that becomes a survey. The second is questionnaire. Questionnaire is like you are creating the questions, some n number of questions for the people, and that questions will be remain same for all the targeted resources. You are not making any changes in your questionnaire as per the responses, but that will be the same. Your questionnaire will be the same for all the resources. Next we have the interview. Interview is nothing but you are personally or one-to-one conversation, one-to-one questionnaire you are going to ask to that interviewee, and based on their responses at the run time, we can change the next question. Next we have the observations. So observation, that is the fourth type of your primary data collection, where in the observation we are not going to ask anything, or there is no any questionnaire for the resources. Just at the data collector, we are collecting the data based on the observations. We are observing the things, the changes of the society, the changes of the market, and then on the basis of that we are making the assumptions or our decisions. We are taking the decisions. The last in the primary data collection is the focus group, where the targeted resources are limited. You are just circulating or asking or taking the feedback from the limited resource person, that comes under the focus group. Going for the second data collection technique, that is the secondary, which is divided under the internet, the archives and the news, where the data is already available. Any of the researcher may have collected that data for their research, and then they have uploaded or just given that data for the public. Okay, so of course there are some pros and cons for the secondary. For the secondary data collection, of course it gives you the data in a very short time span, but the data which is already collected, you cannot make the changes as per your requirement. Whatever the data is available on the internet, on the archives, you have to accept that data as it is. You cannot make the changes, or even you cannot go and ask that targeted resource persons to make the changes in that collected data. So these are the various tools for the data collection, and these we are using for the research methodology. Now For the next, we have two types of analysis, the descriptive and the inferential analysis. So descriptive analysis, where it works with the smaller data set, where we are working on the historical data, the data which is already collected. We are finding the insights of that data by using various techniques like measuring the central value of the data. If the data is in the quantitative format, if it is in the numerical format, so we are going to calculate the central tendencies like mean and median, or even the mode as well. If the data is in the qualitative format, we are only focusing on the mode if we are looking for the central tendency. Then if the data, when we want to find out the dispersion of the data, the range of the data, how the data is variable or scattered, we are going for the measures of the dispersion. The first is the range, then the standard deviation, variance and absolute deviation. All these terms are from your statistical background. We have in each tool, the tool which we will be using for analysis, so let's say for Python, Power BI, Tableau, so all these tools are having some inbuilt functions. Even the Excel is also having the inbuilt function for these various techniques. For inferential statistics, which works for the large data set, where we are working with multiple sheets with huge amount of data, and over here we are finding out various complex insights of the data, which that complex insights are focusing or based on the various features. In this descriptive statistics, your calculation or your decisions are based on only a single parameter, whereas inferential statistics, when we are finding out the insights with the help of inferential statistics, that in that we are considering the multiple features, even though we are finding out how your dependent variable is connected or is related with your independent values. So for that we have various tests, hypothesis testing के अंदर like Z test, F test, T test, and even for the prediction to make the predicted values to finding out the futuristic values, we have the regression analysis. So these are the various tools for your descriptive statistics, and these are the various graphs which we can make to understand the insights of the data with the help of descriptive statistics. So it describes the characteristics of population using a sample. As in the previous slide we have seen, it works with the smaller amount of data, so that's why it just using the sample of your population. It is not working for the entire data set. Tools like measure of central tendency like mean, median, mode, and for the dispersion, the range, standard deviation, quartiles and other things. It is used for organizing and describes the present data meaningful. Present or the historical data we can represent, or we can find out the meaningful insights, the curves, the what happened in the previous year, previous months, that we can represent with the descriptive statistic very precisely. And it is relevance, it is used to summarize known in a way that can be used for further prediction and analysis. So that's it for today's session. Thank you everyone.